before I forget, I want to write one little thing on the board, because the Parsha starts in chapter number 35, I believe it is. You can check me on this, and I need a pen. I have one of these marker things. Rose, do we have a marker somewhere handy? Probably in here somewhere, right? My sunglasses, I don't need that. I need a marker. I found one. Okay, black, green, black is good. All right, so we'll try. On the board, the first two words of the Parsha. There's double Parsha, so we have Vayakhel, and we also have Pekudei. That's from last week. I don't need that. But the beginning of Vayakhel, that Parsha alone, says like this. It says Vayakhel. I hope I can write it correctly. Vayakhel, like Kahal, Moshe. Then dot, 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 it goes on for other things. Moshe's 345 in Gematria. So let's do Vayakhel. It's 100, 140, 146, 151. Let's add them together. The total is 496. What's that? We've seen that before. Malchut. So right away, Parshas, at least Vayakhel, starts out with kingship. It starts out with Kabbalah right off the bat. This is cool, and this is what we have. That's in 35. Sorry, 35. Chapter 35. We're not going to do much in 35. 35 is the beginning of it all, where God is telling Moshe that he's to take Truma, just like they said in Parshas Truma. It's a repeat of a lot of that stuff with the objects for the Beit HaMikdash. What did we say before? We have silver, gold, and copper. Right? Copper, silver, and gold. I don't remember the order it says it in, but those three things. And they are the chemical things. We talked about that before. It starts out here with that also. And then it talks about Betzalel. It didn't talk about him back in Truma. I didn't mention Betzalel. He was first mentioned in Parshas Kisisa. Last week's Parsha. What does he mention in? They chose Betzalel because God chose him, because he is Betzalel ben Uri ben Kor of the Bate Yehuda, from the tribe of Yehuda, and God gave him what? Wisdom and understanding and knowledge to be able to do things, to build things in the tabernacle. And that's Betzalel. Now, I'm not really named for him, however, I mentioned last week, it's interesting for me that Betzalel ben Uri ben Kor, his name happens to be the same as 688 in Gematria, and that is also Reuven ben Shmuel, but it's also Shmuel ben Reuven. So it could be either way. Turn it around, it's still a good person, whoever it is. And maybe I'm one of them, I don't know. I hope. Anyway, but here we have the code, behold peace. So it's Hine Shalom. And if you look at the code, by the way, it's 67 skip. I did it today.
Okay, thank you.
Right? With a mem, final mem. We've got more things to say about this. This is a bigger one than usual. Not the skip is not big, it's 67, and not the code is a 7-letter code. It's pretty big. And we have here every verse that this part is in. Now when I say is in, verse 16 of Tet Zion, it's only crossing over that verse, because the code letters are not actually in the verse, but the skip part is in that verse, so we have to include that verse, and a few others also, like 21 and 23. At any rate, every verse that's there, I have with its Gematria. How did I get the Gematria? Years and years ago, I'm talking about already back in the States, I had the Gematria of every verse in the Torah. Well, there are many programs now you can get that. The problem is, you usually have to tell the Gematria and find out what verse it is. I actually had it where I know, just look at the verse and I know the Gematria. So you want verse number 3 of the Torah, there's a Gematria and I can look it up in a table, so it's easy for me to do it. I actually have it in the whole Tanakh, but since I still have it, the problem is I don't know where it is anymore. So it's a Tanakh one, but I used to have it. So, but here we go. So let's look at the verses. A very interesting thing will come out. Plus, we already have the code, which is great. Hine Shalom. Behold, Shalom, peace. And the final mem. The verses are all there. So verse 15, you can read them all. 5, 8, 4, 6. Don't memorize the numbers, but they're all there. The total of all those 10 verses, and it's 10 verses, by the way, happens to be 46,494. What's that? It's 54 times 861. Now, I didn't write here what 54. 54 could be a couple different things. Dan. Dan, either in Dan, the tribe, because Oholiab is involved, and he's from the tribe of Dan. But there's another reason possible, too, because Dan is like Dan Lachaskus. It's like, it's not give, it means judge. Judge favorably, basically. Dan. Din, right? Judgment. So therefore, and it's involved with this when you see what this Gematria is, the other one. The other Gematria is 861, which could be Rosh Hashanah, great, and that's certainly related to Gene, but it's also could be Beit HaMikdash. That's the one I want to focus on. It's either of those pairs is equal to 861. For me, it's Beit HaMikdash. The three bold words, by the way, that we happen to have sitting in there, Makseh, Leohel, Orot, whatever that means, and it's not important to me, but it is Yas, meaning Betzalel has got to make this stuff, right? And it happens to be equal to also 861, interesting. And we have the words below for you to see what it's about. The length of one curtain was 30 cubits, and the width of one curtain was 4 cubits, the same measure for the 11 curtains. It's all about curtains and stuff like that for the Miskan, for the tabernacle. What in the world has got to do with behold peace? Because the whole tabernacle, if you think about it, and in fact, Beit HaMikdash is the tabernacle in larger when we have it here in Yerushalayim. Right? So that's important. And it is a place of peace, because it gives Klal Yisrael peace. Not just Yerushalayim is a city of peace, it is, but also the Beit HaMikdash is certainly a peaceful tent, a peaceful place. All right, very nice.